important discussion on what's next for Iran. Obviously, the complications at this point in time are aplenty. The war is also going on, but what's worrying is the fallout that we have gotten to see in terms of Iran unleashing hell all over the Middle East. Ambassador Elon Pinkas, former diplomat, is joining us from Tel Aviv, Israel at this point in time. Major General Mr. J.K. Bansal is also with us. He's a defense expert, joins us on the show. Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, foreign affairs expert, with us on the program as well. Thank you, gentlemen, for being a part of this conversation. Ambassador, I'll begin with you. I hope you can hear me.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us. Well, in a way, this is something that the world expected. But what, has really caught the attention of the world is the fact that Iran has no friends today. It's unleashing its anger, it's unleashing its frustration all over the Middle East. Also, countries that wanted to, in fact, protect Iran in some way or the other, or facilitate negotiations with the American when it came to the enrichment of uranium, seem to be being attacked by Iran for having US bases. What does this tell you about Iran? Is this a country which is completely out of context and completely out of its mind, I should say?
Well, you more or less answered your own question. They are weakened. They seem to be out of context. You said they have no friends. They have two potential friends: Russia, which, as you pointed out correctly, if I may say so, is staying out, and China, and that remains to be seen, because China may incur some of the economic consequences in the event that this escalates in the next 3 or 4 days, 72, 96 hours, and the Strait of Hormuz is shut down, at least temporarily. But in terms of geopolitics, ever since June 2025, the first phase, or the Iran-Israel war #1, calling the one that's going on now #2, with American cooperation, coordination, collusion, call it what you want, Iran has been geopolitically weakened. It has lost many of its trusted and prized assets: Hezbollah in Lebanon, Hamas in Gaza, to a lesser degree, but have also been weakened, the Houthis in southwest Yemen. Its main conduit for arms, that was the regime of Bashar Assad in Syria. And it is losing face, it is losing its ability to project power. So in that respect, it is weakened. Now, one last observation to make about this, because you mentioned correctly the uninhibited or the wild massive retaliation. They're doing their best to retaliate massively. They're not doing a good job, I have to tell you. I mean, I may be proven wrong, and in the next 2-3 days, they may cause a lot of harm, damage, and casualties. I'm not saying it's not possible, but right now, other than shooting missiles randomly and causing pretty limited damage, this looks like an act of desperation, no more, no less.
All right. Well, what do you think is the intention of these attacks? What do you think is going to happen when Iran, which it definitely will, run out of its arsenal, run out of its defenses, and run out of its deep ballistic missiles? What's going to happen? Is a regime change likely to be facilitated by Israel and the United States?
Well, that's a good question, because the missile arsenal depletion depends on how long the conflict goes on. If it is 2 or 3 days, or if it is 2 or 3 weeks, obviously the longer it is, the less available weapons they have, and they have nowhere to replenish those missiles and those systems from. And what I see now is an act of, as I said before, is an act of desperation. But let one word of caution, or let me make a cautious assessment here. Regime change does not happen with aerial power. You do not induce regime change with an F-22 or an F-35 or a B-2 bomber. You just can't do this, which is why I see the regime coalescing around an alternative leadership from within the ranks of the Islamic revolution apparatus, not someone from the outside. And so Israel and the U.S. may, in the next few days, diverge in terms of interests. The U.S. may call it quits and say, we've done enough. We won, we demolished, we obliterated. President Trump will use all these synonyms and euphemisms that he wants and declare victory. And he's going to say it's up to the Iranian people, which would leave the Iranian regime intact, not as powerful, very weakened, yeah, but still intact, and Israel facing the same dilemmas.
You're absolutely right about that. You need troops on the ground, like the Americans had in Venezuela, to take over that country. But Ambassador, another question that I have for you.
Yeah, please.
It's important for Iran also to understand that if the Americans and the Israelis can get to the most protected man in Iran, how difficult will it be for them to protract and elongate this war? I think perhaps some sort of gumption and wisdom should dawn upon the powers that be at this point in time and walk away with whatever they can save, sir.
Well, what you just said, I absolutely concur with, but it applies to the U.S., not to Israel. I could see President Trump, this war being extraordinarily unpopular. I mean, it's only 24 or 30 hours long, but there is already a pushback in the U.S. In Congress, both Democrats and Republicans were saying this is an illegal declaration of war. Only Congress is constitutionally authorized to declare war. Within the right-wing pro-Trump MAGA movement, MAGA, Make America Great Again movement, they're saying, what the hell is this? We've talked about ending wars, not starting wars. You ran on bringing peace, not getting yourself involved mired in more forever wars in the Middle East. What is America's interest? If you ask an average American, why did America attack Japan? And say, well, because of Pearl Harbor. And why did America attack Nazi Germany? Well, because the Third Reich declared war on America. And why did America invade Afghanistan? Well, because of 9/11, 2001. And then you ask that same American, and this is evident in polls, this is not me making this up, why has America attacked Iran on the 28th of February 2026? And no one has an answer in terms of the average American. And so Trump may cut his political losses here, declare victory, and walk away, deal with Greenland and China and Venezuela, and now he's talking about regime change in Cuba. Okay. For Israel, it's an entirely different story, obviously.
You're quite right, sir. A lot of people are saying that it's not the United States that has attacked Iran, it's Donald Trump, to distract from whatever is happening with the internal politics in the United States. But you've made some very important points, sir. Let me also, get in some other guests on to this